So, you beautiful fine people, luckily for us, we've been invited into the inner sanctum of REVV Amps, and our man Sam is going to talk us through the D20 uber super cool micro head, and then the G20, which is the kind of heavier version of that. And I'm just going to play some notes on this glorious Ibanez AZ, and we're going to maybe do swears, like really harsh swears. Yeah, talk about dicks. Right, so I'm going to pass this over and we're going to run through some of the shit we can do.
Hello, I'm Sam from REVV, and I'm going to show you, they're going to show you the lunchbox heads that we have out. So the first one we'll take a look at here is the D20. This came out last year, and this is the first amp that we did in this format. It's more or less a pedal platform amp. It's very clean with a second gain stage, which is a push-pull. And it was the first amp in the world to have the 2 notes embedded technology installed. So basically it has a load box inside the amp, and it allows you to load, on here you have 6 different switches, but in total if you're using MIDI you can load up to 128 different virtual cabs onto this, which allows you to run a direct line, either into an interface or front of house or anything like that. And there's a lot of other cool features we can look at within that too. It's a 20 watt head. It can run at 20 or 4 watts. And yeah, let's get her going.
So let's hear that, if we got that clean.
Yep. Sounds great. So that was on 20 watt mode here. So what I'll show you now is just we'll pull it out and do the secondary gain stage, and you can hear a bit of what that sounds like. Yeah.
Beautiful, super spanky.
Super chimey. Yeah. And that second mode does stack quite nicely with pedals, as we said with the amp. Like if you're wanting to get anything more high gain, you know, our G2 pedal is more of a mid gain pedal, and the G3 and 4 you can get more of the sound of the generator amps.
This is better as a pedal platform.
This one is certainly more of a pedal platform. It's made just to have that really articulate, kind of bright clean, whereas the G20, which we'll get to, is definitely more of like an all-in-one amp, and the clean channel is a little warmer and more compressed. So quickly, I'll just show you as well. I'll go back to the normal clean mode, but right now we're running simultaneously through a cab and through the 2 notes. If you hit on the back, there's an internal load switch, and that will go just to the direct line, so we're running it through a wedge down here. And I'll show you a couple different cab settings. Right now we're on a 412 cab setting with a bit of reverb. Wanna go with that? So what you're hearing here is all the direct signal. This is not through an actual speaker cab. Yep. And then we'll go to a 212. And then a 112. And both of these have an option with and without verb. And as I was saying, you can store much more than just the 6 on here. These are just the stock IRs that come on the amp, but with the 2 notes wall of sound plugin, you can load your own. There's a lot of other options in terms of EQing, different reverb settings that you can do for the ones that are on here, or you can just completely scrap them and put on different IRs. Basically, and I mean the fact that it's so small, for someone who's looking for like an easy fly rig solution, you know, you could fit it. I mean, we have bags for them. You could fit it in a backpack if you need to, right? So yeah, that's the D20. That was the first one that we did.
So what does the gain channel sound like? Is there a drive channel on this amp?
This one, no. The only thing, as I was saying, I'll show you how hairy it can get, but it was just that secondary gain stage, and all it does is just give it a little bit more breakup. So yep, and that's about as hot as the amp will get on its own.
It's a tasty hot though.
It is, and it's very
Present, like.
Absolutely, and where it's just 20 watts or 4, when you get it to that point on the preamp, it starts to rip. Like it really works the tubes a little more, which is nice. So it definitely also, you know, as I was saying with the clean platform amp, when a lot of people, you know, like that out of this more vintage kind of clean amp, so they start to do that. It does also do that. So that's very nice. So yeah, this guy just was the last year, and then the evolution of that was the G20. Obviously, REVV kind of got what we're doing through the high gain amps, and I think a lot of people at first were like, oh, this is a great format, but why is it clean? And truthfully, I think it was just the easiest way to try something like this and give it out. And it also appeals to a wider audience. We do have some metal guys who will still buy these because they take pedals so well, but this opened up to lots of country players and stuff like that. So it just helped grow the brand a lot. And then once it did that, we were able to invest more time in creating the G20, which is essentially the same format with the two notes embedded and everything like that, but it is a higher gain circuit. It is 2-channel, and it's based mostly off the 3rd channel on the the Generator 120, which is also like a 100p, and also the G3 pedal. It's very similar to that. The pedals essentially represent the different channels on the 120 amp. Yeah. So with the G20, I'll just quickly sneak over here. Same thing. You got a 3-band EQ, volume, gain. There's a wide switch on here, which is a new feature, and essentially that is just a bit of an EQ boost, like a little bit more high, a little bit more low. So it just fattens it up.
Just scoops it out a little.
Yeah, it just gives it a little more like thunk. And obviously
Great word.
the thunk. Yeah, just you know the tone. And then as far as the high gain channel, it does have 3 different aggression levels, and what that basically is different saturation levels. It's almost like you're throwing a drive in front of it. That being said, it is also fun to run like a G2 or like a Tube Screamer style pedal into this. And same thing, it has the pre-post mode, and there is a store on here because this one actually does have a foot switch. And there's 2 modes on the foot switch. The first mode just allows you to kind of scroll through the different functions on here, and the secondary mode is a program mode, which actually allows you to dial in whatever preset you want, including the cab sim, and save it onto the foot switch. So you can actually save presets with different cab settings, like if you wanted the lead tone to have a bit of verb, but you don't want your rhythm tone to or whatever. And that is MIDI programmable as well. The foot switch runs off MIDI, but you could also, as I was saying with the cabs, you're able to store 128. So if you're doing anything with automation or whatever, you could get pretty wild with it. Yeah, exactly. So I'll switch over to that, and I'm just going to quickly plug the XLR into the back of that too. Yeah. So I'll go to the clean first, just so you can kind of hear the difference between that and the D20, and we can go back and forth too with the amp here.
Yeah, so it's front pickup again.
Yeah. Cool. So I'll hit the wide switch now.
So why would you not have the wide switch?
Exactly, especially for the clean tones, and it is a little smoother, I guess, than the D20, and I guess like the intention, obviously, with this amp is that people wouldn't need to drive pedals into it as much, so that's kind of why it's voiced that way. So I'll just quickly pop back and forth between the two. So this is the D20 again. And this is the G20. So, yeah, so a bit of difference there, just in the voicing. So yeah, we'll flip over to the gain channel. So now we'll go to the second aggression level, which is
also quite aggressive.
It is, yeah, and it gets more aggressive.
Just want a gent. Oh man, it's too much fun.
It's hard not to.
It's hard not
when
to
it
just
sounds
choke
like
when it
that.
sounds like it.
Yep, and then there is one more, and this is more just like all out.
Just all out. Yeah, it's a beautiful tone, man.
It's fun. So I'll quickly, just lastly, before we're done, I will switch to the two notes, and I'll just show you the difference here with the cabs on that. So this is just going through the wedge again. Here,
Wedge
not
again?
through a real cab. Yeah.
And that's the 412.
That's the fourth. Sounds like there's a bit of verb on that, so someone has stored a preset on here. Go ahead there. So that's the manipulation there. 212.
Super tight, man.
Totally. I prefer the 412.
Awesome.
Me too. And same thing here. You could load all your own IRs onto that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Awesome.
That's basically it, man.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
dude.
fun.
Fucking brilliant.
Fuck
Well,
yeah.
thank the guys over at Rev. Can I just take that mic? Otherwise, you might not hear me.
Yeah.
Thank fucking Sam. You fucking legend.
Yeah.
Right, so now
Fucking boys.
I'm just going to say like twat nuggets.
Oh, jeez, that's a good one. I don't even know.
It was pretty good.
See, I find like Canadian insults, and it's not even that. It's like more just like derogatory. It's like,
Let's do the
it's a good one. It's like, oh, you're fucking spare parts, bud. Like fucking.
Hey, you fucking spare parts. Love it, man.
You watch
Right?
Letterkenny.
Cool. So, twat nuggets and spare parts. That's what we've got from the Rev review. So, great sound amp. You need to check them out. Available through Thomann and Andertons in the UK, and you just should go and buy one because they're fucking awesome, man. So, I'll see you in the next one.